Hello, welcome back. So this will be the final video, and to end this series we're gonna look at some hover states and transitions to a couple of things that might be interactive on this page, and then maybe do a little final check and see if a little bit more CSS tweaking. So let's get started. So hover states and transitions work as a pair. A hover state tells the CSS what something should look like when the mouse is over it. A transition tells CSS how to get there. Instead of instantly snapping to the end style, like the hover, like when on hover, we have a couple of things. We have this, where is it? This hover. It underlines over here. So the transition will do this in a way we specified, not just instantly. And so then, while we are at it, I notice our navbar doesn't do anything if we hover over it. So let's do that. We already have nav A, text decoration and the color. So let's add a border bottom pixel solid transparent, and we are adding a transparent border on the bottom, so it does, so it's already there but just transparent, so when we hover and we see one, we don't see everything jumping 2 pixels. No, not transform. Transition. Is. And then nav a hover. So when we hover, border color, border bottom, no, it's border bottom color, and then one of our variables, and let's see if we can see this one. Yeah, so, well, there it is. So the pattern is the same, or this is the pattern. We add a transition property on the object and a state separately. So when the state is we are hovering over it, it does this CSS. And here the transition tells us how to get there. So it's gonna take 0.2 seconds and it's gonna ease in and out. If we do here like 5 seconds, just for educational purposes, there, see? Very slow it gets there. Very slow it turns on and off. So this is just for educational purposes. So let's go back to, so it's hardly noticeable, but instead of immediately, it kind of like appears. And now just let's fix this under, we had the active. So let's have the active be this border bottom. We had dot active text decoration, so let's change it to, oops, border bottom 2 pixels solid. So is this better? I don't know, you tell me. Now let's do some stuff to these cards. Let's where are they? Dot here. Dot card. So the whole card class, let's add, okay, let's first add the dot card hover. So when we hover over the card, let's transform, translate y of -4 pixels. So what is this gonna do? Oop. It kind of like lifts it a bit. But right now it's happening. It's happening instantly. Let's add just a little box shadow. And then let's do RGBA off. So there's our little shadow. I don't know, let me 92, 58, 40. Subtle shadow. Very subtle, subtle. Okay, so now we add the transition so it's not jumping immediately. If we click on them, we go nowhere, right? Maybe that's for another web page idea. Okay, so in our card, so now we transition. Transform 0.2 seconds is so we are gonna do two things on the transition, the transform and the shadow when we are hovering, and then 0.2 seconds with ease and 0.2 seconds with on the box shadow. So it's a little, so they are both a little subtle. I cannot pronounce that. Okay, so now our little button, because this goes to the menu. But when we hover, we only see the mouse pointer. So I'm already here at the bottom. So now let's do the btn when we hover, we transform again. We'll do the same thing. We translate it -2 pixels, and then we box shadow. There. And now we transition the transform 0.15 seconds is, comma, box, shadow 0.15 seconds is. There. Now our button translates and does a little shadow when we hover over it. So we have another button, this one. And this one, yeah, is this button. So let's button color cursor pointer, and then we're gonna box shadow 6 pixel. Well, this box shadow is not while we hover. It's there, always. Button, hover, and we background color to 7. Transform, translate Y. So this one will jump a bit and change color instantly. Okay, so let's do the same thing on the table. So here's the only thing we have on the table. So let's table body. Let's first do what we are gonna do. T body TR on hover. And then we are gonna change a little bit the background color to RGBA. Or let's do and very subtle. There, just a little bit darker. And then the transform, this background color, control copy, there, 0.15 seconds is hardly visible, right? But it's nice to have. If we hover, we can just read the line easier. Our footer already has this on hover. Footer nav A, footer nav A on hover. We have the text decoration underline. Let's change that one just for funsies. Let's change the opacity to 0.7. So when we hover, it gets a little transparent. And then I know it might be easier to type, but just to clarify, it's this key, opacity 0.2 seconds, is in, out, is out, or just is. There. Do you like it? So that's it for that. We added the hover states over here, hover states here. We tweaked this button, the menu, and that's almost it, right? There's only one more last thing I want to tweak before we leave this as finished, and it's this. When this is small, it's nice. But now, how about the opposite? How about when we go full width? And I don't know if you like this, but I don't like that this is too wide. And then this is centered, and this is also way over here. So I'm gonna make it I'm gonna add some tweaks on the CSS, add them at the end, so we have a max width. So there's a lot of ways we could do this, but so we do not do anything absolutely at all to our HTML. We leave it like this. We have the main section. We have the nav and the header we need to fix, and the main section already has the hero content section alt. So we'll work with those. So I'm gonna just add this to the very bottom for now. So main will get a max width of 1,000 pixels, 1,100 pixels. And then we'll do the margin. The margin tree requires 0 on top and bottom, and then auto on the sides. So that fixes that fixes this. That fixes the hero because hero is inside our main, but we still need our header and nav. And this fixes almost everything except for our header and nav. So header, comma, and nav. That's why the comma, not only the nav inside the header, it's both of them. And then some trick I have to search for. Max 20 pixels, comma, and then calculate 100% minus pixels and 2. So whatever's left between 100%, the padding on the left, it's gonna be 20 pixels or whatever we calculate between what's the width of the whole page minus 100 the width we wanted, and then that by half because it's only the left side. So we will need to do this on the right. Yeah, I know this is some trickery, but because we did it at the very end, so I did not want to go back and tweak the HTML there. So now this works, right? What else? What else is there? And I think that's it for now. I think that's it. Menu, about, content. And if we go full, so everything is more or less contained. So it may not be the most beautiful website in the world, but functions. Okay, so I think that will be it for now, for this video and for the whole series. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.